This is a trade recap for Monday, April 27th, 2026. This is our first day back from paper trading. So just a reminder, this is number 7 of 10 for phase 4 of one and done, our exercise in building consistency and discipline in day trading. And interesting morning. Kind of have a burst that happened doing one and done. And part of that has to do with oversizing early. Not necessarily oversizing, but again, building a position a little too early, failing to wait for confirmation to let the market kind of let you know what it's going to do. So again, actually managed to have some, again, I can feel the emotion come in, which is rare. Maybe finally getting to the size where that's going to be one of those things that needs to be worked on, which is interesting. Managed to get in with a full position, so 7 contracts. So for the market conditions, that is probably oversized, but that is what I did. So we can go ahead and get into it. But if you're newer struggling with day trading and you're looking for some help, especially for the long term, if you're really trying to make a go at this and really honest one at that, you need a coach and mentor. And for me, I chose Pat Mitchell. He's been at this for over a decade. He knows exactly what he's doing day in, day out. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that, again, I talk about him damn near every single video. And yeah, it's one of those things where he knows his stuff. He proves it day in, day out, live on screen share. So if that is someone you are interested in learning from, you can check out the website at tricktrades.com. You can also check out his YouTube videos. He has a channel, Trick Trades is what it's called, and he has over 1,700 videos on there. There's an entire wealth of information. Just picking through all that, that is going to be a sizable effort, and best of luck if you want to take that approach. Other than that, if you're interested in joining the service, if you check the description below, you'll find links to the memberships, and it'll save you a little bit of money on your first month, so you can give it a shot. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the charts. Okay, so this is the recording from this morning's session. If you're new here, just kind of lay the land. We only trade SPY and Qs. Those are the only 2 tickers we touch. We don't trade anything else. And this top row here, this is SPY. This bottom row here, this is Qs. These charts here you see on the left, these are daily charts. The charts here in the middle are 1-minute intraday charts, and then I keep my order execution here on the right because I like it all on one screen. These levels right here you see in blue, these are the levels Pat selects starting the night before and then refining the morning of, and that builds our trade plans around them. Once he has these set, they do not move for any reason. The red dashed line is just my risk line. I like the visual cue to risk. He does not do that. So for SPY, we were, again, having this level up here with this little trend that we were going to short off of. Qs was kind of opening more on top of this level. So you need some distance. So we need to see what was happening there. And again, with what Qs was offering in terms of this levels and risk, Pat, whatever it said already right in the beginning, like when he was doing the plan, that not necessarily overly interested in Qs. But again, when your plan triggers and your strategy dictates that you take trades, that is what you need to do. You don't deviate from that. Otherwise, again, you start injecting all kind of different rules and you'll break the strategy, and yeah, it doesn't really work out. Kind of skews the data. We were more interested in SPY because of the protection that we had with it. And Pat was pointing that all out this morning before any of this happened. So this is right at the open, and I'll go ahead and hit play. And I'll probably step through it a little bit just to kind of get us through the morning session a little bit quicker. Just waiting to see what happens. Qs popped up, but we're really interested in Qs short, as we were more interested in SPY long or SPY short. Had better levels of protection, so it was, again, better trade overall. Just getting ready, getting sorted. So we're starting to come up into that level. Go ahead, entered with a standard size of 2. Again, it's kind of my full starter. Starts popping back up at the level, going to correct that. Hit it with another 3 to really correct the average to pull it in because that was a good size pop. Starting to see a little bit of reaction there. Premium, though, is not moving a huge amount. So I thought that was interesting for that pop. So again, being Monday where we are, might see a little shenanigans, but you never know. Starts coming through the level. Just trying to be patient. Throwing some pre-market levels or ranges that might be interested in for using as profit targets. Qs looks like it might want to break that or hold, kind of coming through a little bit. SPY immediately bounces off the kind of that first little range there. Comes back up. Q is still kind of floating towards its low. So as we're pushing up and down, you just got to kind of watch, see what's happening. SPY's getting bought up. No, if Q is hold here and pushes up as well, it's going to really make SPY come up. So that's what I'm waiting for to see if that happens. Go ahead and add my final 2 there. So now we're up to 7 in. And now we just wait. Do we get stopped out? Or does the trade work? Now, this is kind of where I was in with enough size to where, again, kind of got that emotional, like, this is more size than necessarily comfortable with where we are and how we're trading and how premium's not moving around. And again, those factors that, again, but again, even if you're feeling that, you still need to be disciplined in the trade. You need to, again, have your stuff together. You need to let the trade take you out or work. So, as uncomfortable as it can get sometimes, that's how you do it. Now, was it a huge emotional spike? No. Was I freaking out? No. But it's interesting to me because I'm usually a very emotionally level, neutral, even cold. Most people say I'm cold when they interact with me, person. But again, and this is kind of the first time in a long time that actually had, again, a decent little, enough for me to notice. I'll put it that way. So I thought that was interesting. And part of that just has to be because of where I got size in. I did not wait for that weakness. And then Pat was going over that this morning with where he, again, actually got his size in. And again, it just shows the difference in between, again, where how he does things versus how I was doing things. And again, the disparity, or again, where someone who's more experienced and knows exactly what they're looking at, what they're doing, is doing versus someone that's, again, less experienced. So I'm just going to step forward. And then as it came back down into the level, you have to pay yourself no matter what. So I did. So I was red about $34 there, paying on that, paying out 2. So I got 5 left. And then as we see, the Qs are starting to come down, testing its lower morning range, which is a good sign. So going to peel out another 2 there. Just kind of keep sizing out just to, again, in case it wants to hold and pop again. That's on the underside of that level for SPY, so it's coming back up. So if Q's can kind of reject some of its pre-market levels, and SPY stays below that level. That's looking good. SPY is kind of trapped in between those two levels, the main level and the minor level, and then starts moving its way down a little bit. Just try and be patient. Again, if it comes into those lower yellow levels, it's kind of where it's like I'm trying to hold to. Now the question is, Q's kind of has developed this trend, so it's one of those things like, does it break or reject that trend as well as that kind of that yellow level where that is? Just kind of getting ready to, again, start taking out small chunks of the position that's left. So I got 3 left. So there goes another one. Letting it stretch, as Pat says. Pay out another. Down to the last one. Q just kind of back down into that morning range and see what it wants to do. Wants to hold, or is it going to break? All right, pushing down a little bit lower now. Q's starting to break down. And then just got to wait to see what it wants to do. Kind of looks like it's going to bounce. And so we're being patient. Again, it's one of those things where at this point in time, with how I've paid myself, I've actually zeroed out the loss completely. And I'm just slightly green. So now it's kind of like do or die time for Q's in terms of what it wants to do. See if it truly breaks that range. SPY's kind of putting pressure, and then it kind of just goes. And go ahead and pay myself on that beautiful gift right there, as Pat would call it. And out with the last one for a green trade with 7 contracts. And it was only $50, but at the worst, I think I was down about 200. And then when I paid on the first 2 contracts, I was negative $34 locked in, then like 30, and then again, basically worked it back. So until I was positive 50. So $50, 7 contracts, green trade, required patience, and a little, again, critiquing on how I built my position in terms of adding and averaging, and the more appropriate way to do that, as Pat pointed out live on screen share. So that is the advantage of having a coach and mentor, because it's one of those things like, this is what I did, this is what he did. Why did I go the route I did? And why did he go the route he did? And like, what's the difference? Judgment, decision making, again, all that, because you want to do things like, again, your coach, because they're the ones that, again, you really knows their stuff, or they should if they are your coach. So as you can see, came down, basically ended up holding down there, and yeah, worked. Here's the entries. So in with 2, in with 3, in with 2, out with 2, red there, out with 2 there, still a little less. Again, took a little of the red away, and then these 2 really zeroed it out. And then honestly, like the majority of the green actually came on that candle. So trade worked to plan, required patience, even with a goof on, not really a goof, but again, the choices, the less than ideal choices I made in the trade and building the position, it still worked, because all the other factors were working with me. Plus, and probably the biggest thing is the guidance. And that's what a coach gives you. So, with that being said, it's something I'm going to have to work on. Again, getting better at adding and averaging, especially reading the price action and the way to do that when we have specific market conditions like this. And then, again, going forward, just making sure that is consistently something that is done until it becomes muscle memory, essentially. But yeah. And like I said before, if you're looking for a coach or mentor, Pat Mitchell, Trick Trades. So you need. It's just that simple. Other than that, that's all I've got for this one. So happy Monday. Welcome back to One and Done. Got 2 mores for this one, then we're on to phase 5. And that one will be interesting because we will be basically at the limit of where I can potentially, again, in terms of size and where I am in the size up program for the time being. So that'll probably turn into a just perpetual one and done at that point and kind of a more standard recap. But that should be interesting too. And yeah, that's all I have. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you tomorrow for the next one. Later.